Joining us now at the Innovation Cafe is Chris Abel, and the Innovation Cafe is brought to you by KOBO. Open Up. Now, we're going to be talking about bringing rare books into the digital world, but Chris, let's start with that October wonder that is Nuit Blanche.
Nuit Blanche. Yes, I got to meet a New York-based artist called Lisa Park, and she had this fantastic exhibit where she had 48 speakers on the floor, and on each speaker she had an aluminum bowl filled with water, and all of this was connected to an EEG headset. So she was inviting people at Nuit Blanche to step up and put on this headset and allow their brain waves to be able to reach out to these bowls and to these speakers to create music and vibrations and all sorts of interesting patterns. And I thought that was unusual that here you have this woman who's kind of a stranger to everybody saying, "Hi, can I read your brain waves?"
Just check out your brain.
A huge lineup of people. And so I asked her why she felt that people were so eager to trust her.
A lot of people kind of likes the idea of maybe controlling water with your mind, trying to maybe concentrate to control the volume of the sound output or try to meditate to make the frequency change. I think people are interested in creating this feedback, based on yourself. And then what's interesting with using like a brainwave headset or heart rate devices when you're doing a performance is that there is a lot of unexpectedness. For instance, when you are practicing by yourself, it's totally different experience than exposing yourself in front of hundreds of people and performing. The data is always changing. But I think that could be the beauty of the performance.
And so I'll give you a taste of what it actually sounds like. Here's a little bit of the music that's created from this. That rattling you heard, that was the speakers.
I'd be scared to let them inside my brain.
And what's neat is that she generates images based off of this, the readings that come off the headset, and those you get as a souvenir on your Instagram account. She also has set it up so that two people can put on headsets and join together. And as she talks about here, that creates some rather surprising results.
I wanted to see when two people wears the headset at the same time, and if they're interacting, whether they're strangers or whether they're friends or maybe co-workers, depending on who you're interacting with, maybe your response of the brainwave will be different. There are people who are like holding hands, hugging each other. I didn't instruct them anything. They're just like, they knew already what they're doing. Sometimes they're like kind of doing all these different gestures and movements. So the idea was actually two people try at the same time and then finish the experience at the same time. And then once there's two visualization, you can compare.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very, very cool.
And lots of people lining up just to have that experience, which is neat for the world of science and tech, to have that curiosity. I liked seeing that.
Okay, now I know another place that you like to hang out a lot, and that's the Rare Book Library.
Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library is one of the most beautiful libraries in the world, hands down. Beautiful columns of shelves and amber lights. Gorgeous place. Now, our sponsors, KOBO, and their latest KOBO readers don't just read eBooks, but they also support multiple different file formats, PDFs, image files, all sorts of cool things. And libraries like Thomas Fisher take advantage of that. They can take their rare, delicate, most precious books and scan them into those file formats, make them available for free through archive.org, and then those normally restricted materials become available to anyone who has that curiosity. So I went and I visited with John Shoesmith, who's their outreach librarian, and asked him to go through the considerations involved in scanning rare books. And he showed me one of their oldest books, a 700-year-old copy of the Four Gospels in Greek, which has browning pages, warped pages. It's so old and so tender, but gorgeous, beautiful illustrations of mosaics and portraits of Christ. Beautiful book.
So it's the Four Gospels in Greek, circa the 12th century. We're talking about something that's 800 years old at this point, almost 800 years old. We say you don't need to necessarily wear gloves, but what we do say is to make sure your hands are clean and to not touch any of the illustrations, because the illustrations themselves, the illuminations, are the things that you got to guard against in terms of them really degrading. It's not that it's fragile, because the pages themselves are made from vellum. It's the binding that you want to preserve. It's been scanned once. It'll never be scanned again. This book would have been scanned probably about 10 years ago now. So at the time, this book would have been scanned at about 600 DPI. They're raw TIFF files. And the great thing is you can really get in close to the page And that's specifically important when you're looking at some of the illustrations, because obviously you can't get too close to illustrations with the naked eye, but the digital surrogate, you can really hone in on some of the actual imagery you want to see.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you download using the KOBO app, you can actually pinch and zoom into some of these scanned documents. Yeah.
It's amazing. You must just love this stuff.
Oh, I do. And of course, I asked John Shoesmith to recommend a modern book, something that isn't historic, but has a story that sort of relates to his work.
There's a book I read when I first started this job about 10 years ago called Shadow in the Wind by a Spanish writer, Carlos Ruiz Zafón. It takes place in Barcelona, and it revolves around an antiquarian bookstore. It revolves the story around one very special, precious book that he pulls out of the bookshelves. And it was an important book for me to read at the time because I was just new to this job, and I was just understanding sort of the preciousness of rare materials and kind of the magic. That's something that really hit me when I read it, the value of what a book holds.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Innovation Cafe was brought to you by KOBO. KOBO makes it easier to access the stories you love and discover new ones in an instant. Over 5 million eBooks, a personalized reading experience, and points earned with every purchase. Visit KOBO.com today.
She might just change.